All right, Phantom Blade Zero. A lot of people cannot believe the combat is real. They refuse to believe it. We've never seen combat like this in a game. How is it possible? Well, on the PlayStation blog, I'll put the link in the description, the developers share with us how it's made possible. It says, lucky for us, during the decade making mobile games, we learned to simplify things in favor of touchscreens, giving players a way to execute elaborate chains of moves with a minimum amount of button mashing. As it turns out, with some tweaks, this mechanism works just as well on controllers. So there's the magic. They found a way to take the mobile game technology and implement it into the controller. Usually, when you're on a controller, you're used to doing 5, 10, 15, 20 button mashes to do a combo. But in mobile games, you're hitting the button 1, 2, maybe 3 times. So in this gameplay right here in particular, we would normally think he's pressing the button 23 times to pull that off. But in reality, in this game, because of the technology, he may have pressed that button 3 times. We don't know. So what we do know is you won't have to press 20 buttons to do 20 moves. You may only have to press it 5 times or maybe 10 times. We're going to find out when the game comes out. And then they go on to say that they're working with Mr. Kinji, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, as their action director. So he's worked in a lot of movies, doing stunt work, choreography. He's worked with Donnie Yen, so he's very talented. So they were inspired by his work, so they asked him to come on board. And then they have him demonstrate each design move, which is then captured with a camera matrix for the reference of our animation artist. You're reading it right. Combat moves in Phantom Blade Zero have to be made with handcrafted animation because motion capturing can't do it justice. So there it is. While everyone else is using mocap to capture things, they're doing handcrafted animations. That is unbelievable. And that is why we're getting unbelievable gameplay that most people cannot believe. So, if you were not a believer in the gameplay, now you know what they're doing, and so now you can be a believer. This game came out of nowhere, and it is going to be an incredible game. And can you imagine Ghost of Tsushima 2 using this technology? I'm telling you right now that this technology is out there, once other developers learn exactly how they did it, you're going to see this type of combat implemented in the majority of action games. I mentioned Ghost of Tsushima 2. Could you imagine if they did this in that game? As good as the combat was in Ghost of Tsushima, it can't even compete with what we're seeing in this game. And it's because of the technology that they're using. So I can imagine where many action games will be doing the same thing. It is incredibly cool. You gotta remember, China, they specialize in mobile games. They play a lot of mobile games in China. And a lot of games we don't even know about because they're not coming here. But they are masters at mobile gaming. And to take mobile game technology and to implement it into a controller, that's incredible. And then to handcraft animations to make it possible visually, that's just next level. I've said this many times before, and I'll say it again. With PlayStation going over to China, in sharing how to create legendary video games and seeing the Chinese developers taking that information and running with it. I've said it years ago, we're going to see absolutely legendary games coming from China. It's going to happen, and it's already happening. And this is just one of the many games that is going to come from China that's going to be mind-blowing. The combat in this game is the best combat with a sword I have ever seen in a video game, because there's never been this technology used in a video game before, and so that's why it's possible. So once again, you look at the comments on the videos, most people, they refuse to believe it. They can't believe it. The combat cannot be real. That's how good this game looks. But it is real. And it's coming to PC and PS5. And I'm definitely going to pre-order it as soon as it comes to PS5. So I'm excited for this game. Can't wait to play it. And the combat, insane. Phantom Blade Zero. You do not want to miss this game.